Hello.
I'm Summer.
I'm Janice.
I'm Dee.
I'm Kevin.
And this is
Written
Written Together.
Together.
Every season, we work collaboratively to tell a different story.
Each episode of the season, one of us extends the story from where the last person left off.
The rest of us don't know what's in store, so it's an adventure for everyone.
everyone.
Come on, these are the jokes.
Not a family show.
Exactly.
So join us for fun,
For mystery,
Creativity, but most of all,
to be delighted by stories
Written
written
together.
together.
Howdy'do Campers. Welcome to another exciting episode of Written Together. Today we've got Summer, and it's a Raoul story, right?
Raoul. Yes, I am so
Summer.
excited. This is like the first since the beginning. This is the first just about him, you know?
Yeah.
I'm
This is gonna be
not going to
exciting.
lie, Summer, I'm a little scared. I don't know where this is going to turn. I feel like it's, going to be like, da, 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 whoa,
Right?
You're like,
Why
hold
would you
on.
think such a thing?
I don't know, all of your monkey wrench emojis in chat.
Yeah, I know. I saw that and I was like, I may suffer a coronary by myself at home. Somebody call 911 from as far as we all are from each other.
Right.
Please, somebody call
Say,
911.
whoever gets to write next, the world is wide open for you.
Oh, gee whiz. Ugh. More ominous words have never been spoken.
Do we want to throw in our little recap?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh.
So we'll recap goes here. Story recap. What's happened so far?
Rath's eyes narrowed. The man hadn't moved at all. Most people would be clutching their heads in their hands, an instant migraine sprouting from wherever Rath laid that elegant finger. This human was vacant, as though he were somewhere else, a husk left staring at a flickering screen.
Greed floated back to Armand and whispered, "This confrontation could backfire, and you would get nothing. Make sure you always have something to gain."
When did they stop kissing? Why did they stop kissing? Is that why he left? Does he kiss Armand like he used to kiss Raoul?
Envy felt her golden power pulse brighter. You paid for the wedding, remember? You even paid for the honeymoon, which is probably where he met Armand, she threw in for good measure.
Lust's powerful flow of desire rippled through the memory in Raoul's mind, electrifying it and relighting deadened sensations.
It was decided, she supposed, the wards should come down now if they were to finish their work on the man together, as a family. I guess it's time to be a little more proactive at this point if we're to make more than tiny, incremental progress.
The guests would gush over how fabulous everything was. And the word would definitely get back to Esteban and Armand. He paused for a moment, wondering if this is maybe a bad idea.
That's a fantastic recap. Thanks.
Oh, yeah, great recap. Great recap. We all do such great work with those recaps.
I know. How much hard
All right,
work I
Summer.
just put in. Ooh, give me a second. Oh.
Right. Take a breath, have a sip of water. And so, Summer, do you have like a title?
I do.
What's that?
This episode, focusing on Raoul, is called A Match Made in 7. Raoul felt crazy. He didn't know what was going on inside his head these days. One minute, he was sorting through pictures, wondering what he did wrong. The next, he was bounding around, planning dinner parties and ordering more food than he ever thought he could name. He felt like a man possessed. He had a feeling of being hollowed out, like a spoon had scooped out his feelings, his brain, his soul, and nothing was left but a shell. And the shell had a big open for business sign hanging on the door, so whatever emotion du jour felt the strongest at the moment seemed to completely take him over and dictate who he was and what he thought. It's a disconcerting feeling for someone who'd always felt fairly in control of his mind and his emotions. For some reason, admitting this reminds Raoul of when Esteban's mother had died. Esteban had been the ultimate mama's boy, and her death was completely unexpected. Esteban had taken it hard. He hadn't seemed capable of coming out of his depression for months on end, so they'd gone to counseling together. It was to help Esteban process his feelings and to help Raoul understand how he could help Esteban. Raoul didn't remember much of what the therapist had said, except that she droned endlessly about the 5 stages of grief. He didn't remember the 5 stages of grief either. Felt like they were similar to what he was going through now, although he thinks he might have added a few stages. He was pretty sure that some of the stages he added weren't official stages, like there's probably no throw insane amounts of money at making your backyard garden look good that no one will ever see stage. Or maybe there was. He probably should have listened to the therapist, or at least taken her a little more seriously. This did bring a new question to mind, though. It had been months. Raoul could tell himself he's over it, that he's moving on, but he knows that's just pride putting on a show. On the good days, he's pulling a fake it to make it at best. On the worst days, he can barely pull himself out of bed, let alone take a shower, eat, or act human. Or he spends hours tormenting himself with images of what Esteban's doing with his new twink, and he can't seem to get past it. Torturing himself with all the what-ifs, the regrets, the memories. This is real mourning. This is what Esteban was doing the year after his mom died. So what does that mean? Raoul had had plenty of breakups before. He'd even been dumped before. Sometimes he bounced right back. He'd be out that very night enjoying the freedom of release, reveling in the ability to have anonymous hookups or cruise the clubs unencumbered. Occasionally, he had a breakup where he got emotional or he sulked for a few days. The last boyfriend that even came close to this amount of despair was Sean. He and Sean were together for almost as long as he and Esteban had been, but at a much earlier stage of life. And while he and Sean swore they were in love, Raoul knew that he had been happy gay marriage hadn't yet been legalized back then, because he wasn't ready to settle down with Sean, or with anyone. He was on the right side of 30 then. He knew his looks were only going to go downhill, as was his tight ass. So he should be out there enjoying it while he could. Man, he had a great ass back then.
Well, at least he could recognize that. That's important.
So back then, when Sean had found out about Gabriel and Nico and what was his name? The other guy.
Oops.
Sean threw a fit that only the queeniest of queens can throw. All of our wool stuff was thrown all over the lawn. His car was scratched up. Bottles were broken. It was messy. But that's what happens when you're 24 and you're in your first relationship as an adult. You act like a child.
I mean, what?
Who said that?
Highlight that one right there.
But even so, Raoul felt bad he had hurt Sean, and he felt worse he'd gotten caught. But he also felt a tad bit of relief. He moped around for a few days, but it was more out of the inconvenience of having to find a new place to live, about his ruined car, and losing some of his friends in the breakup. Most of them had rallied around Team Sean, and while Raoul was sad to lose them, he didn't blame them, and he found it easy to move on. But then again, he tended to float through things more back then than he does now. Maybe he cared less, had fewer regrets? Raoul wasn't sure. All he knows is that he'd feel terrible if he lost his friends with this breakup. And he'd feel terrible about this breakup even though he wasn't the main source of the blame this time. Does that mean he didn't really love Sean or any of those past boyfriends? That maybe he didn't know what it meant to be in love until now? Given how easily he'd been able to walk away from all of his previous lives, Raoul questioned what they actually meant to him. Does this multi-month depression mean that Esteban was the one? Raoul was conflicted. On the one hand, Esteban deserves pain and suffering. He wronged Raoul, and he wrought terrible things onto himself. He deserves all the bad things that Raoul's been dealing with and worse. On the other hand, if Raoul's honest with himself, he wants Esteban back. He wants everything that his life with Esteban offered. The house, the dogs, the cars, the friends, the family, the community, the security, the support, the partnership, the inherent understanding, the accepted love languages, the ability to communicate an entire conversation with just a few facial expressions. He wants all of it. It takes a long time to get there. On the other hand, relationships are so much work. Maybe you should just let this guy go. Go live an unencumbered, simple, single life. It'd be so much easier. No need to impress anyone. No need to be aware of someone else's feelings or their needs. No need to fucking shower for a week if you didn't feel like it. On the other hand, thinking about Esteban having sex with Armand makes Raoul crazy. He doesn't know if he can get past that. He hates that Armand's getting Esteban and he isn't. On the other hand, remembering sex with Esteban is nice. Sex with one person who knows you, who cares for you, who knows how to make you happy and strives to do it, is nice. It's much better than putting in the efforts to find a random one-night stand, or God forbid, putting him out there to find a new long-term relationship. He's thought a lot recently about how good the sex with Esteban was. It was legit, really hot. On the other hand, Raoul feels like he deserves better. He gave Esteban everything, and what he got in return was being kicked to the curb. Esteban should come crawling back to him. Raoul can wait. He doesn't need to beg. On the other hand, maybe he could get past that if he could have all of Esteban's attention, all of his love, all of his focus. That's all he wanted, and not having it is probably what led to this inevitable downfall. Wait, that's like 7 hands. Raoul laughs at himself. He's a hot mess, but at least he knows it. He finally decides that in order to move on, he needs to find closure. He's amused by the fact that he's pretty sure Esteban's therapist said the exact same thing to Esteban about his dead mother. So even if he wasn't paying direct attention, clearly some nuggets of her wisdom wormed their way into his subconscious. He decides to be the bigger man. Then he giggles at this. He decides to be the better man. He's going to call Esteban and offer an olive branch. He's not going to beg him to come back. He's not going to blame him for everything that happened. He's not going to pick a fight or wax nostalgic about their past. He's simply going to take the high road, tell Esteban that he was an important part of his happiness for over a decade, and he hopes that the two of them can have an amicable, if not friendly, relationship, given the roles that they played in each other's life. He jots down a few bullet points so that he can stay on track with the conversation. He doesn't want to let emotions override his core message. He doesn't want to go off script by babbling or accusing or crying with neediness. A few simple, clear, concise points. We meant a lot to each other for a long time. I don't want you to be hurt. I don't want to be hurt. We can formally separate on good terms. If you're willing, so am I. Let's not involve lawyers. I don't want many things, and the things I do want, I don't think you'll care about. Let's just sit down and talk like humans. Let's talk like friends. Or at least people who had a rich, important, dynamic history together. We owe that to each other, given our shared past. And maybe we can stay in contact, coffee once a week. He isn't sure about that last one. He'll see how the conversation goes. He takes a deep breath. He can do this. He's got it. He dials Esteban's number. Esteban picks up on the first ring. Hey, do you have a minute? I'd really like to have a chat. A civil one. It's important. I've been doing a lot of thinking for the last few months, and Raoul breaks off as he hears Esteban draw in a shaky breath and then release it with a barely concealed sob. What's wrong? What happened?
Oh my God, Raoul. I'm so happy to hear from you. I'm so sorry for everything.
Well, I appreciate that, but what's wrong? Are you okay?
No. Armand left me.
Bruh!
That's it.
I
Excellent.
knew you were going to do
I
it.
love it.
Me.
I love it.
Oh my God.
my
I
That's
cannot.
excellent. It really does blow it all wide open.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
I want to bang
That's
my head against the
fantastic.
wall right now. Oh my gosh. What?
That's wonderful.
What?
Wow.
What have you
Wow.
done? That mic drop is so hard.
That's
The mic drop
really
that
what a
echoed
whoa.
around the internet. Like, holy, what?
Right? What a way to leave that.
Man, roll the credits.
Damn.
You know, it's like, what?
Stay tuned for season 2.
Dude, like, wait a minute. That's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah, ending on
Actually-
that cliffhanger might.
Yeah, like
Pretty
that
amazing.
would be oh stunning. Like that's amazing.
Right? Huh. We'll have to discuss that further.
Stay
Um,
tuned, listeners.
I-
We may end this season here.
Was this the season finale?
Just kidding. Thank you.
I really liked how you kind of like played with the stages of grief with what he was experiencing over this time in
Yeah.
the house. Like each of these spirits kind of was being translated by his brain
Yeah.
as a stage of grief. I mean, here in retrospect,
Yeah.
looking back over
it's
his
Yes,
time,
beautiful.
that was
That was a-
excellent.
a neat way of wrapping that up, or rather, neat way of pulling that together. That was cool.
Yeah, because they do. It is does resemble it completely. Like,
Yeah.
so the angry, the tired and sleepy, all the things that
Yeah.
go along with grief.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I love the 5 stages of grief. Were there a couple extras? That was nice. Nice touch.
Why am I mowing the backyard? I don't understand. What's this one?
Oh, that's great.
Is
Oh,
this
my-
acceptance? Because I don't accept this.
Oh my gosh.
It was really good. That was really
Thank
good,
you.
Summer.
Woo. So many possibilities. What have you done? What have you done?
I mean, do we want to, what do you think? Should we?
Just automatically choose writer's choice and then spin
Oh,
the
okay.
who.
The wheel of randomness. That might not be a bad idea. Good job, T. Good idea.
Okay.
And with one
All right.
less boop, I guess.
Yes.
A singular boop.
Right.
Yes. To see who gets writer's choice.
Automatic boop for writer's
Right.
choice and a secondary boop for boop. Okay. It says Summer,
Yeah.
but we've decided before
No
that
two, no
Roll
two back to
again.
back.
boop. Janice,
Oh!
look at that.
So excited. I'm doing my writer dance.
Now, should
It's
this
horrible.
be?
I'm glad we are not on YouTube Live or anything like that. That would be horrible.
Now, should you close it out?
That's up to you guys. If you guys want me to close it out, I can do that. It can be a little bit of a longer episode. I can definitely do that. It would have book ended with me beginning it and then with me closing it out. I don't know what episode we're on. We have 8 minutes of this meeting time left. Wait, make a
Right,
decision.
yeah,
No, I'm
yeah.
kidding.
I'd say write the story and see where it goes. If it feels like there's a good, natural, organic way to close it, then go for it. If not, we can always revisit one of the stronger of the 7 deadly sins to, come in and kick ass and end it, or even do a few of them.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Or we could totally do a Mad
Summer,
Libs
that was really
episode
great.
where
Maybe that should be an interstitial
give me
where
an
we would do a
adjective.
Mad Libs episode. Mad Libs interstitial. That would
funny.
be
It'd be funny.
incredible. I am excited and a little nervous. That's hard to come after. No pun intended.
Oh my
Come
gosh.
on, these are the jokes.
Not a family show.
Exactly. We have established that from the beginning. If you didn't know that yet, go to the first episode, understand where we are.
Right, exactly.
Giggity.
Summer, that was really good because I did not ever expect that to happen.
No, I
That was
told you,
really
I
came
was
out of left
nervous.
field. That was good.
Because I know, I was like, there's gonna be a plot twist somewhere.
Yeah.
I was not ready.
Yeah, and she delivered. You delivered real well,
Yeah.
Summer. That was
Delivered.
good.
Nice.
Delivered.
Oh man.
Great. All right. Well, since we have such 2 minutes left
I know,
before
right?
our automatic cutoff happens, so if there's nothing else, I guess we can close out. Yeah, close out like this is a tab. Um,
Can you just put it on my credit card, please?
Check, please.
right.
4 separate checks.
And we're gonna split the sodas. So
That's
can
right.
you-
That's right. We only had 1 soda, but we want to split it 4 ways. I feel like, I've heard this
Oh
before.
my gosh. All right, great. Well, if that's all, yeah, right.
All right.
I'm gonna declare the match extinguished. Thanks for joining, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Man, that was great.
Background music and sound effects courtesy of Zapsplat. Check him out at zapsplat.com. If you'd like to know more about Written Together and the stories we've told, visit us at writtentogether.com.